Hey everybody, it's LTM here. I'm at my house right now, if you can see it. And I'm about to go and watch Beetlejuice, the sequel to the Beetlejuice movie from 1988. I love the original Beetlejuice. I'm pretty split on Tim Burton's movies as a whole because he's one of those directors that I want to like him, but other part of me is that I don't want to like him because he does a lot of bad remakes and stuff, and his style is just usually the same thing over and over again. But I will say, whenever Tim Burton does something original like Nightmare Before Christmas or Edward Scissorhands, it works. But when it's like a remake of an old classic movie, like for example, like Planet of the Apes or Alice in Wonderland, it does not work for me. With that said, I love the first Beetlejuice. My only complaint I always had about the first Beetlejuice is that Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice is not in it very much after rewatching it the first time in a while. But with that said, I do think it has a very creative idea. It's very funny. It has a very charming plotting characters. It works. It's a very good movie. Really great one, actually. One of my favorites. So when I heard there was this Legacy sequel, I'm like, I might actually like this. I think this is something that Tim Burton kind of needs right now after being kind of in a weird slump in the past couple years. So maybe this movie might be good. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. But this is LTM, and I'll be right back with you guys. Hey everybody, it's LTM here. I just got back from the theater, took everybody home, and I just got back from watching Beetlejuice, the sequel to the 1988 film. And I actually had a blast watching it. Honestly, it's probably one of the best films. I don't know if I call it the best films because there are plenty of other films that are better, but this is probably one of the better ones I've seen all year. So it's many years later, obviously. Winona Ryder's character has a daughter, and the daughter is having some issues of her own. And it turns out one of the characters from the original film passed away, Jeffrey Tambor, which I know he's not technically in this movie because of reasons, but basically, his character ends up passing away, and then this leads the attention of Beetlejuice, who's basically Winona Ryder boyfriend or friend. Winona Ryder gets engaged, and then it gets the attention of Beetlejuice, and now Beetlejuice wants to help Winona Ryder find her daughter because her daughter's being taken by this teenager who turned out to be a serial killer. And by the way, that's just a little bit of a spoil there if you haven't seen the film. Sorry, but basically they're basically at the end of most of the movie is just them dealing with the guy who engaged to Winona Ryder, and Beetlejuice and Winona Ryder's character going to find her daughter. So the movie is not that complex. It's very cliche when you break it down. But I think what stood out to me about Beetlejuice is that this is kind of like it kind of reminded me of Top Gun Maverick, where I feel like because Tim Burton came back to direct this. I feel like the people who worked on that film really wanted to try to recapture what made the original so good in the first place. Like, there are some callbacks. They tries to do something different, even though some of it's pretty cliche. Like, for example, and then this is kind of a spoil, the climax from it's kind of a similar climax to the first one with Winona Ryder getting married and things like that. But at the same time, there's some new differences and stuff. There are some good callbacks, some good references to the original. It stays true to the original. It's a little darker and a little meaner than the first film, but it still captures what made it so good in the first place. The acting is very good. Michael Keaton still got it despite his age. He really does really good in this film. He does a fantastic job as always, and you could tell he still got it. All the actors do pretty good as well. The visual effects for a Tim Burton movie look amazing, like always. Like, this takes like the thing about this movie is, like, for example, like the worms, the sandworms. Instead of using fully CGI, they actually took the stop motion from the original and brought it back. So I'm glad they did stop motion for some parts of this movie, which has a little bit of a comeback feel to it, which is pretty good. Love the visuals and effects and the set designs. For a Tim Burton movie, this looks amazing as always. I don't know how I felt about the music in this. It's not bad. I really like the music in it, but it feels like you didn't really need to have some of this stuff in it. Like, this is kind of a spoil. Like, at the end, instead of saying Dale like in the original, they do a song called MacArthur Park, which is it has a similar feel to the first one, where he's like controlling people and making people dance and things like that. But the music's good. Like I said, the movie can have its cliches. I do like the chemistry between the characters. And it's just a very creative movie like the first film. Like, the movie does explore a little bit more of the underworld, and it does a really good job exploring that. So, not much I can say about this, but if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. If you love the original, Beetlejuice is probably going to end up being this year's Top Gun Maverick, in that it's really good at taking the original and does everything in its power to make it to recreate what made it so good in the first place. And that's what I appreciate about this movie. With a lot of legacy sequels being hit and miss nowadays, this is probably one of the better ones, and I can't recommend it more enough. If it wasn't for some of the cliches, I probably would have given this a 10 out of 10, but for now, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I do still prefer the original a little bit more, but if you love the original, if you love Tim Burton, I say go check this movie out if you haven't seen it already. All right, guys, that was Beetlejuice. Please subscribe, comment below, let me know. This is LTM, and I'll see you guys later.